Okay, good. I do have audio. Let's see what's going down. Oh, Splatoon is in the series? Oh god, I should really take advantage of that and work my way towards S rank. I'm like 50 points away from S rank. Oh my god. No, seriously. I'm 40 points away from being at a chance to rank up to S rank. But no, that's not actually what we're doing today. Because we're heading into this because today is a Golden Weapon Day. Golden Weapon Days usually only happen like 3, maybe 4 times a year. And this is the first ever Golden Weapon Day for Splatoon 3. So yeah, finally, there's finally enough weapons to do Golden Weapon Day. I'm excited. So yeah. I don't know, but I did see Chugga Conroy saying that, yeah, no, it's pretty bad. Like, just that the game, I guess on higher levels, the game just lags too much or something. I don't know the exact details. So, today, alright, it being a Golden Weapon Day and all. Well, so with that, so I've decided to do an early in chat today, right? It's not like fucking midnight right now. Oh, we got the blaster. So yeah, it's not the middle of the night, you know, it's, what, 3 o'clock right now? And I decided to do an earlier in chat today. Specifically because you know, one, the Golden Weapon Day, right? I wanted to make sure I was able to play that. And 2, and the other main reason, is because of my Nintendo Switch Online. My Nintendo Switch Online for the month runs out at I think 5 o'clock? No, maybe not 5 o'clock. It might be 6 o'clock. It runs out in a few... No, I think it's 6 o'clock. It runs out in a few hours. And I'm like, okay, I at least got to get a little bit more Splatoon in before the Nintendo Switch Online runs out. I will, you know, inevitably renew it. Just not, like, right now. So that's why I was like, you know, let's just do this now. So yeah, that's like the second reason why I'm doing this early. So it's really just those two things. Where I'm like, yeah, you know, it makes sense. No, I always thought the Golden Weapon Days, right? Like, I've only ever done like 4 of them throughout the this would be number 4, right? I think I got like 1 or 2 of them in Splatoon 1 or Splatoon 2, I mean. So yeah, so the actual thing we're talking about today, we're talking about Minecraft because yeah, Minecraft, duh. We're talking Splatoon 3's new update, the fresh update. A bunch of information was officially revealed for that this week. And then finally, the final major story is Pokémon Day. You know, I was like, do we talk about Pokémon Day this week? Do we talk about Pokémon Day next week? I wasn't entirely sure which one I wanted to do. But I thought, you know, let's just talk about it this week. Might as well just make our lives easier, and let's just talk about it this week. So I'll be giving my Pokémon Day predictions. And then we've got some WIBE stuff. You know, I've been watching a few TV shows. I've saw Ant-Man, so we'll be talking about Ant-Man. Full spoilers, but we'll get there. We'll do that at the end. That'll be the last thing we talk about. And then, yeah. You know, still going to be like a 2-hour show, but, you know, we're used to it at this point. Oh, come on. Give me the right side. So yeah, that's the show this week. You know, a very simple show. But we do actually have a few not much news, but a lot of WIBE stuff. So yeah, let's start off with Minecraft 1.20. So as we know, as I've said and as many other people have pointed out, Minecraft is in a very tumultuous position. Right? Like, and it's not all bad either. Like, I thought the most recent update was actually very good. Right, the ancient cities are super fun to investigate and explore. The problem is, Minecraft's got itself a bit of a PR crisis. Right, they kind of don't know what to do with their game PR-wise. And, you know, that's created a series of problems. And so right now, they're kind of in the... Even though the updates are good, the PR isn't. So right now, they're kind of not in the best situation. And so that brings us to the most recent stuff for 1.20. So far, right, I've been calling 1.20 the Better Together update. And I guess, and I would still stand by that being accurate. You know, that definitely encapsulates my feelings. Or not Better Together. What was I calling it? It was the... Oh god, I honestly don't remember what I was calling it. It wasn't Better Together, but it was something like that. It was... Okay, I clearly have completely forgotten. But I was calling it something. And yeah, whatever, it's something like Better Together, or Everyone's Here, or something like that. But I don't think, like, some of the stuff, you know, it's nothing, like, amazing so far. But it's been fine. And the stuff we got this week, you know, it still looks pretty good. The first thing is they finally showed off archaeology for the first time in a long time. We've got... I'm saving the big one for last. So we got archaeology back in the game. That you can make clay pots, and when you make the clay pots, you can put these, like, special shards you find and special sand in the clay pots, and it puts, like, special designs, like diamonds and skeleton faces and whatnot. And I hope there are more shards, and I hope there are more ways to find these shards. Because right now there's a diamond, a skeleton, an arrow, or like a bow and arrow, and like one other. There's not that many. So I hope we get more of them, because I think it's an interesting concept. I really do. I like the customization. And right, you make, and before, like, previously we had seen, like, oh, you would make the pot, and then you would, like, fire it up, and that would, like, cook the designs into the pot. No, now it's just you craft the pot, and instead of using bricks, you use these shards, and they make the pot, right, they build the pots into the shards, or they build the shards into the pot. In theory, you could just make a pot with shards. So yeah, it's not a bad idea by any means. And yeah, so they've added this new sand, and I don't remember if they talked about how to get the new brush item. Like, I don't know if we have a crafting recipe for that. But the new sand can be found in both, like, there's a new room they added to desert temples, and the shards can be added to these underwater wells. Or, you know, the wells that you can find in deserts that don't really do anything? Yeah, now they do something. Now you can find these shards. I do wish there were more places you could find shards. You know, everything that they've been doing with these armor styles is what I want them to do with these shards, right? where, like, oh, I want these shards to be able to be found in different places in the game. And, you know, maybe they have some, like, specific stuff relating to where you find them. You know, something like that I think would be very neat. But so far, we've got nothing of the sort. Oh, come on. So yeah, so far we've had nothing of the sort. Right now, it's just like, oh, hey, here's the shards, and here's the new sand. So, I mean, it's fine, right? Like, again, this is all cosmetic stuff. But, so, yeah, I have much less, right, like, I still do not like the armor shards. I know they're going to balance them. Like, I think they already made the one you need for netherite armor twice as common. That's still only 10%, by the way. That's still, like, a 10% chance of finding one of these rare netherite shards. And a full set of netherite armor in tools, I want to say requires like 86 diamonds now. And it's like a full stack just for the armor. That, I still think that's bullshit. I still feel like they should not have changed netherite at all. And instead, just, you know, start working on the new armor. Right? Whether it's going to be in the end, whether it's going to be a new dimension, you can start working on the new armor. That's okay. And, you know, you can put this shit... But, like, netherite's worked the way it has for so long now that I don't know. And again, I feel like I play the game on a different level than most people, aka a lower level, right? Like, I'm not saying, like, oh, I play it on a higher level. No, I'm saying I play it on a lower level than most people do. So I never have, like... I don't even know if I have ever had 86 free diamonds in a single world. Right? Like, I don't even know if I've ever had that many just... I definitely in, like, some worlds, but, like, in, like, a singular world, 86 diamonds? I don't think I've ever done that. When you've got one of these Grizzco buckets, your top priority is flyfish duty. So yeah, I still don't like the armor slate stuff. I still think that stuff is stupid. And then the other thing, the second thing is sniffers. They finally showed off the sniffer. And honestly, I think the sniffer's kind of cute. I'll be honest, like, they're clearly trying to do more stuff with it. Because, you know, people complain that, oh, all these new mobs, they never do anything with them. So for the sniffer, you know, we're actually going to do stuff with them. Ah, crap. And we've now got this new item, the ancient seeds. And there's probably going to be multiple types of ancient seeds. I guess supposed to leaks, there's at least 2. But, you know, there might be more. But the new one that got added is the torch flower. And it's an orange flower that, you know, it's supposed to look like a torch. It may be based on a real flower. I don't know. But it's called the torch flower. And it doesn't give off any light. If you're going to call something the torch flower, make it give off light. Right? Like, why? There's no reason not to make it give off light. So that's my thoughts on that one. Honestly, and I think design-wise, the torch flower looks good. I like the sniffers. They've got this weird sniff. They kind of trot along kind of stupidly. I don't know. I guess I think the sniffers are cute. You know, I know Minecraft gets a lot of shit for their new mobs. For the mob vote mobs being kind of sucky. And I think they're going to try to change that. I think 1.20 is going to... The sniffer is going to be there like, no, see, they're not all bad. We're going to make this one good. If I had to guess, that's what they're going to do. Or at least that's the hope anyways. You know, make something good. Make something that does useful shit. I would like that. But we'll see if that actually comes through. But so far, yeah, just make the torch flower give off light. I have no problem with it. And I like a big mob. Specifically, I like a big passive mob. Most of the big mobs are all very small. Or most passive mobs are all very small. But you know, big mobs like the Ender Dragon and the Wither are all hostile. I want a big mob that's passive. Right, even the Ravager. Big mob, hostile. Good, we get a big mob that's passive. I'm cool with this. Yeah, I'm all aboard this. And then finally, the cool thing that I just absolutely love. And I saw people joke that, oh, this redeems everything Minecraft has done up to this point. They're adding in cherry blossoms. Fuck yeah, I love cherry blossoms. Cherry blossoms look so cool. This isn't me being a weeb, actually. I think the first time I saw cherry blossoms were when I visited DC. But no, cherry blossoms are just fucking cool, man. They look cool. And it's something that, like, mods have been doing it forever. Right? People have always wanted cherry blossoms in Minecraft. And I think they look great. The new biome is fantastic. Because it's not just cherry trees. The cherry trees give off a particle effect of falling leaves. And they can, like, collect on the ground. So there's, like, these little, like, there's, like, piles of, like, ground cherry blossoms. And it's just, it looks very nice. I know, I've heard some people complain that there's too much green in them. Honestly, I think it looks fine. I think they look fine, right? Actually going in and seeing them in work, I think the biome looks fantastic. The new color of wood, the cherry wood, looks great. It's like this pink color, because, you know, eventually, hopefully, maybe we'll get every color of the rainbow. Maybe, but, right now having pink... It's like, okay, this is cool, because we got I know the logs are just a recolor of the mangrove wood, right? Like, that's what the logs look like, but, you know, that's fine. The new door looks good, the new trapdoor looks good. I think it's all around, I'm actually really happy with it. And, right, it's not like, I know jungle wood is, like, a slight shade of pink, but it's kind of like an ugly at least I'm thinking of jungle, right? It's not the prettiest shade of pink. This is like the birch pink, right? It's a very pretty shade of pink. I think it's a great feature, a great wood. I'm all aboard it. Yeah, let's go cherry wood again, because I know we got bamboo in this update as well. And bamboo, I know some people do not care for it, and I get that, but I personally think it's kind of cool. I'm like, yeah, bamboo is fine. So, yeah. So, yeah, so far, honestly, this is all just, like, stuff they added this week. And, you know, it's kind of cool. You know, it's kind of neat. Like, especially, I know some of this stuff got leaked, right? Like, the sniffer flowers and whatnot. Like, that stuff got leaked. And, you know, that stuff is bound to happen. But it is kind of cool, you know, to get all this stuff. So yeah, I'm personally, right, like, everything we've seen, like, nothing has blown me away in 1.20 so far, but I don't hate any of it. Again, Minecraft's problem at the moment is not one of fucking gameplay problems. It's all PR related. Minecraft is terrible with PR, and every attempt they tried to fix it has just kind of been underwhelming. Oh shit. So yeah, I'm definitely more looking forward to 1.20. See what else they do. Again, I'm expecting this to. I know eventually a new dimension is coming, but that's not going to be 1.20. I'm honestly surprised we're getting archaeology in 1.20. I don't know. 1.20. If you had asked me like 2 weeks ago, I would have said 1.20 is actually getting pretty close to release. Because it feels like they had shown off a good number of things for a small update, while they were working on a larger update in the background. But no, as it turns out, this update's a little bigger than we originally expected. Not huge, mind you. Like, it's not the end cities, it's not caves and cliffs. But it's still, like, they're clearly been working on this in the background. It's just they don't... Transparency. Transparency is key. Originally, Mojang felt like they had too much, and that was part of their PR problem. Now I feel like they have too little, and that's the next part of their PR problem. But you just can't win, right? The only winning move is not to play. So what you gonna do? So next up, we got the Splatoon Fresh Season. So, right, we knew a new season of Splatoon was coming. We just didn't know when. I was expecting it to be announced at the Nintendo Direct. I'm amazed they didn't announce it at the Nintendo Direct, because it comes out March 1st. As well, the other thing I'm surprised they didn't announce at the Nintendo Direct. So, when they're talking about the new, Wave 1 of the DLC updates... Oh, yeah, this thing has no, Okay, I just remembered this thing has no distance. Right, when talking about Wave 1 of the update, they had mentioned that it was coming out in spring. That's kind of what we all figured. Yeah, it turns out it's not coming out in spring. It's actually coming out in winter, in February 28th. Why they didn't announce that at the Nintendo Direct, I have no idea. Like, legitimately, I see no reason why they couldn't have just announced this at the Nintendo Direct. But no, they didn't, and so yeah, but we do now know it's coming out February 28th. So part 1 is then. And I did have a realization. I don't know if other people have said this, but it hit me that, oh, it's Wave... So Wave 1 is the Splatoon 1 Plaza. Wave 2 is Side Order, which part of Side Order has us revisiting the Splatoon 1, or the Splatoon 2 Plaza, but it, like, looks different now. But there's kind of been the speculation of, like, oh, what are we going to unlock for completing the Side Order DLC? Because in the first game, for completing the DLC, you unlocked Octolings. So are we gonna, like, there'd been a bunch of speculation about, like, Cuttlefish or whatnot. But no, I now fully suspect, oh, if the Wave 1 is the Splatoon 1 Plaza, Wave 2 is going to be the Splatoon 2 Plaza. I'm calling that, I'm sure I'm not the first one to say that. But I can't think of anybody else who's said that, but I'm sure I'm not the first. That for completing the Side Order DLC, they're going to unlock the Splatoon 2 Plaza. That's what you get for that. And Splatoon 1 is right the first wave. It just makes sense, based on everything they've shown in this update. That just makes logical sense. I don't love the idea. I don't hate it either, mind you. Right. Because I think the big problem is that I just prefer the Splatoon 3 Plaza. I like how it looks. I like that it's big. I like all the stuff you can do in it. And now, to be fair, they're adding that stuff to the Splatoon 1 Plaza. But you know what I mean. Sure, do I always forget where the hat shop is? Because, you know, you have to climb the stairs to get to it, and that's such a pain in the ass. Yes, that is true. Doesn't mean I don't like the Splatoon 3 Plaza. Oh, shit. But, so the actual Fresh Season, which that's what they decide to name it, the actual season itself, has been shown off. And it is, the big thing, so the big thing that we know so far, we've gotten 2 days of updates, plus we got some still images and whatnot. The big thing we show, and I'm going to pull some of this up on Twitter later, once we finish this round, or once we finish these 3 waves, is, the big thing we know, oh my god, that lag, is that, the new specials. So the first new special announced was Kraken Royale. So they're bringing back Kraken from Splatoon 1. I guarantee you that makes a bunch of people really happy. Because, well, Kraken was just a very iconic special. It also helped that it was super fucking overpowered. They're definitely going to nerf it. Like, 1000% they're going to nerf it. Like, we know it now has, like, big startup lag. So, like, it takes seconds to start up. But the other thing about it is they've added, like, the boost in it. So, like, you know how you can, like when you're climbing walls, you can boost horizontal or vertically? Yeah, they're adding it so that way when you climb up walls, you can now boost vertically. Instead of boosting, you can now boost with it. Basically, you can charge at enemies and do extra damage to them. That's cool, right? So it definitely, like, on one hand, it looks just as powerful as ever, but I know it's been nerfed, at least somewhat, because there's no way they're going to let Kraken from 1 turn back up in this game. 1 Kraken was just way too strong. Not a chance in hell they're going to just bring it back. Even though they did bring back the Kraken roller, which, yeah, of course they did. Now it's a question, do they bring back Kraken in Splat Bombs? Which, if I remember correctly, was the most OP Kraken roller. Again, it's been a while, so that sounds right in my head, but it may not be. So yeah, are they going to bring back 1 Kraken bomb? I want to say it was on a blaster. I don't know, I could be misremembering things. It's been a long time. But I could 100% see that. So it'd be very interesting. Very interesting indeed. So yeah, we know the weapons they bring back are the Crack-On Roller and the .96 Gal. The Crack-On Roller will have respawn beacons, and the 96 Gal, I want to say, has bomb... What's bomb... auto bombs. I want to say it has auto bombs. I could be wrong about that. It's got something like that, though. Alright, real quick, let's focus on this thing. Shit. Can we just kill it using... Oh god. We might be able to kill it just hitting it, because our weapons do a lot of damage. We'll have to see. Holy shit. Oh crap. I really gotta take him out. Holy crap, we're in trouble here. This is... Yeah, we just didn't do boss management enough. That was it. We were focusing... Like, the idea of going in with those super OP weapons and beating Kozuna makes sense. But we're clearly just, like, if you focus too much on them, you get overpowered by everything else. It especially sucks that we didn't have a bucket. If we had a bucket, dealing with Flyfish would have been so much easier. Because Flyfish fucking suck, but no. Alright, let me pull up that image of, the new season real quick. Let me find that. Okay, give me a second. Alright, I'm gonna boot up Twitter real quick. Twitter. So yeah, so the Kraken Royale looks great. It's cool to have. I'm really excited for it. Splatoon North America. There we go. So yeah, I guess let's start wherever it starts here. Okay, give me a second. So yeah, I guess we'll start here. Ooh. Alright, there we go. So right, it's the fresh season. And this is the image that promoted it. So right, you see the Kraken Royale. You see these little guys that we'll talk about in a little bit. We got tons of new weapons, right? That new 96 gal, the crack-on roller, a new bucket, a sploosh and a splash, an L3 nozzle node, the 98, the NZAP 98, Clash Blaster Neo, some version of the sniper, his name I don't remember, a blaster, and we got tons of new gear, Crocs. There's Crocs there. New stages, Manta Maria is back, as well as that Egyptian stage that was shown off a while ago. Something with the jukebox. I know there is a jukebox hidden somewheres in the game. I want to say it's beneath the lobby. And so it looks like that might have functionality now. And then we got this, which this relates to Salmon Run. So, right, I think out of everything here, this is the only thing they haven't talked about. So now Kraken Royale. So, right, you got the new looking Kraken Royale here. It looks like that. And we have an octopus version. So, in Splatoon 1, there was not an octopus version of the Kraken Royale, or the Kraken. There, in the story mode, there were octolings that used Kraken, and it just looked like a squid Kraken. Yeah, we see the special here. I do not have audio for this, but whatever. Okay, so now that I've got audio, it's very loud in my ear. So, right, transform into Kraken, and you see that startup lag, right? Like, they press the button, and it takes a second. And, it moves around, it's slow. I don't know if it gets swim speed buffs. I do not remember. They can jump to spin, which I'm pretty sure is how the original Kraken worked. But now there's this. So they can now charge and boost forwards, which may make the Kraken last less time. I don't entirely know. But that is interesting, nevertheless. Next up, we have the Crack-On Splat Roller, a special collab with Kraken brand. Comes with Squid Beacon sub-weapon. So yeah, it's got Beacon. And then we have the 96 gal, which targets enemies from afar. Oh, and it's got Splash Wall. Okay. I must be thinking of the NZAP that has auto bombs. I'm pretty sure both of these are basically one-for-one kits from Splatoon 2. Or from Splatoon 1, I mean. I'm pretty sure both of these are literally just straight-up Kraken kits. Right? That sounds right to me. Because I remember... Because I know I used the Crack-On Roller. And I want to say it had Beacon on it. I don't know. It's been a long time. And then we got the next set of stuff. So this is the other new special called the Super Jump. If you're tired of enemies camping near your super jump spots, this one for you. It launches decoys that look like super jump landing spots, only to explode shortly after. So we see it in action here. So they pull out the thing. They shoot, it fires a bunch of them. They land on the ground. And then after a little while, they explode. So I've seen a lot of people saying that this thing is going to be very OP. I do not know about that. I'll be honest, I don't know if I would go that far yet. Because, like, the idea of being able to set a decoy that, like a super jump decoy. Because, I and many other people, when we see a super jump spot, we attack it, right? We wait for the enemy to come in. So the idea of being able to send in a super jump decoy, I think is very cool. My problem is, it doesn't just send in one, it sends in a bunch of them. And so I feel like, it's now a little bit more obvious that you can tell where they are. And I know that's intentional. But right, like, it would be really cool if you could just send up a single one of these to try to, fake a player out, thinking it's a super jump. But no. Instead you got a whole bunch of them. I'm sure Object Shredder will work on these things. I'm sure, you'll be able to break them with Object Shredder and then they'll do no damage. Or something like that. I don't know. I'm sure there's going to be some sort of catch here. But right now, when you set them off, they wait for a little bit, and then they explode. So it does seem to ink a big area. Let's see, what does it say? We want to see the super jump in action. Check it out. Now your enemy can destroy the decoys if they realize what's happening. but you can use that to your advantage, get your own spot set up on them. See, like, they word it as if it's supposed to be, like, a trick. Like, these things are supposed to, like, trick people. But, like, if you see, like, 9 super jump spots, you're not going to fall for the trick. But if you were to see just, like, 1, then it'd be like, oh, okay, right, you would second guess yourself every time. I do love the name, by the way, Super Chump. You know, it's a play on jump, but it's a super jump, but it's a fake out. And so when you get faked out, you're the chump. Yeah, that's kind of funny, you know, I like that. I guess people can't put this in the Twitch, because Twitch has banned the word chump, which I think is funny. And then, of course, we got the new weapons. You're not checking out the NZAP 98, a modern version of the NZAP with the classic late 80s color scheme. This comes with the Auto Bomb sub in Super Chump sub special. Ugh. And finally, not up to your speed, try the Clash Blaster Neo, a redesigned version of the Clash Blaster. This one comes with the Super Chump special, and it packs a punch you need to make a splash when it lands. It doesn't say what special it has. Alright, that's all from Ballistics. Fashion design here. We're setting up some fashion seasons. We've been investigating orders, taking merchandise shipments. So yeah, we've got a lot of new gear coming to the game, you know. Some of it from older games. Some of it brand new. Some of it I think is currently in... Some of this stuff is currently in the game though, I think. So yeah. And finally, of course, they're adding new stuff to lockers as well. This guitar is brand new. There's some sports stuff this time, you know, a lacrosse stick, a basketball, stuff like that. And then finally, last but definitely not least, we've saved the reveal of the maximum impact. Starting in the fresh season, all merchants will now stock 9 items at once, from fresh Inkopolis throwbacks to new arrivals. So yeah, items now stock 9 instead of the whatever. I'm already broke on money. Right, I'm already super broke, so that doesn't help me at all. Now, I see this image over here. I know the new catalog in the game leaked. I do not know if this is the new catalog, or if this is something else. But I did hear the new catalog did leak. So, give me a second. I want to look at this. Let me look for it real quick. Let me see if I can find it. Alright, so this comes from... This comes from... Oatmeal Dome. To be fair, I think this is the primary account where I get Splatoon information from. That sounds right anyways. And this was leaked yesterday. So yeah, I feel like whenever, because they're the first person to, translate the Japanese stuff when it gets first posted at, 4 a.m. So yeah, we've got all the new stuff here. Now, I want to point out these 2 things, because these are brand new gear. ZF is a brand new brand. It's a combination of 2 already existing companies, whose names I'm completely forgetting right now. But yeah, basically, just Firefin and whatever Z is. I don't remember. Zeko? Is it Firefin and Zeko? Are right there. They were doing a collab, so we got this brand new type of gear. That's why it's Z plus F. That rep in Inkopolis, that's a reference to Splatoon 1. Crocs. A full camo set. They're doing a full camo set in the game. Yeah. So yeah, we've got some interesting items. There's another ZF logo. The poster looks nice. But yeah, so that's all the new stuff being added. I don't know how this leaked. I don't know where that leaked, but it just did. So yeah, a lot of new stuff coming to Splatoon. And all of that, so the new DLC releases March 20... Or the new DLC releases February 28th. So the Wave 1 of the Splatoon 3 DLC that adds back in Inkopolis Plaza from Splatoon 1, yeah, it releases the last day of the month. So it's in, like, literally, I think, what, like 10 days? Yeah, it releases in 10 days. However, the new wave, the fresh season, comes out the following day. So, right, the DLC comes out that night, and the fresh season starts March 1st. I am currently level, 83 in the chill season. So I've got to gain at least another, 10-ish levels. I mean, 10 plus... It's basically one guaranteed level a day, plus however many more. So I've got a lot of work to do before I get up to max rank, but, I can hope, I can dream. I think unlike Splatoon 2, where it was like or unlike the first season, where it was like a mad rush to, like, get the last few levels, this one I'm a lot more comfortable about. This one I actually think I will do. Right? Probably even with a day or two to spare. Of course, us playing this mode right now doesn't really help things, but what else are you gonna do? Because you just don't get that. At least in my experience, you do not get that much XP from Salmon Run. Or at least for, like, the catalog and whatnot. But yeah, no, everything we've seen so far, I'm interested in the new Super Jump. It's cool to have Kraken back. Yeah, Kraken was OP in Splatoon 1. So yeah, you better believe I used it. So yeah, it's cool to have Kraken back. Why not, Why not? And then Super Jump, again, I think it's an interesting concept. We'll have to see how it works in execution. But conceptually, I'm actually completely on board with it. Where did that come from? So yeah, I'm still loving this game. Right, it's still, I know, right, second job and whatnot, but, like, what other games am I playing? I've actually been playing a few other things. We'll talk about it, though. Next up, so Pokémon Day is the 25th or the 27th. I always kind of forget when Pokémon Day is. It's somewheres between then. I want to say Pokémon Day in Japan is the 27th. So in America, I guess that would be the 26th. But Pokemon Day is coming up, and the Pokemon Company has already started, like, their lead up to Pokemon Day, right? They like, haven't made any announcement, they haven't confirmed that, hey, guess what, we're doing a Pokemon Day stream. But let's be real here, they probably are doing a Pokemon Day stream. So what can we expect? Well, the first thought is a, The first thought is a, oh crap. Oh, shit. The first thought is a new Mystery Dungeons. It's been a while since we've got Mystery Dungeons. A new one would make sense to finally get. It's been quite a while. Or at least, because people like Mystery Dungeons. Personally, I'm not the biggest fan of Mystery Dungeons in the world, but people do really like them, so getting a new one would make sense. Especially because the last Mystery Dungeons game, I think, was Gen 5. I want to say, yeah, Super Mystery Dungeons only had Gen 5 Pokemon. I could be wrong about that. I could 100% be wrong about that. Oh, shit. So, yeah, maybe I'm totally wrong. Maybe there actually are closer than I remember. Maybe there was one with Gen 6 in it, but again, who knows? So yeah, that would make sense. The other thing I think would make a lot of sense, Detective Pikachu. They announced the new Detective Pikachu The game, not the movie. The movie's supposedly alive again, but also dead. It won't have Justice Smith in it. Whatever. The new game was announced back in 2018. And honestly, I was like, maybe I'd pick it up. Especially because I didn't pick up the 3DS version. But if they had just ported the 3DS version to Switch... Oh, we got a splash tech. I probably would have picked it up. I do definitely... I'm curious enough about it. And I don't remember it reviewing bad, at all. It definitely didn't review amazing. But that was 2018. It's now 5 years later. 5 years later? 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, 2020. Yeah, 5 years later. So it would make sense for us to finally get some new Pokemon Detective Pikachu. It'd be neat. On that same thing, Pokemon Sleep. Pokemon Sleep, I think, was announced 2019? It's been a while as well for that one. Why? Oh. So we didn't get one. So yeah, it's been a while since Pokemon Sleep. Of course, I do totally believe that Sleep is probably dead. Because, it's fucking Pokemon Sleep. Who cares? But on the off chance that it isn't... Yeah, if we're going to see it again... I mean, remember when Pokemon did the brush your teeth thing? Which, honestly, I didn't hate at all. Yeah, I did not hate the Pokemon brush your teeth at all. It's kind of charming in some ways. But it's, a thing for babies. And, babies love Pokemon. I do love those stupid fucking videos where they take the kid and they put him in front of the 3 starters. And it's this will determine the rest of your life. Right? There's all those stupid fucking Jimmy Kimmel videos where it's oh, we're gonna torture this kid by pretending we ate all his candy. Nah, fuck those. But them giving their kid a chance to choose their Pokemon starter, that's adorable. Oh my god, can I not hit you? Whatever. So yeah, I'm... Sure, if we see Pokemon Sleep, whatever, if it's dead and they don't bring it up at all, who cares? I guess the trademark did get renewed last year, so there's a chance. But trust me, I'm not thinking very highly of it. Pokemon... do we get some updates on Nintendo Switch Online? Because, Nintendo Switch just added Game Boy and Game Boy Color. And Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance. And some of people's favorite Pokemon games just happen to fall into those into those consoles, Gens 1, 2, and 3. And, they could add Pokemon Home integration, so that way people can play through Gen 1 again and get all their favorites. And yeah, that would make sense. It's something that they didn't announce at the reveal of Game Boy Advance, because, Pokemon Company always kind of does their own thing. But with this... Where is that? Where's that fucker? Yeah, that's the guy we need to kill. That's nothing but problems. So yeah, I can totally see these coming. Of course, I could see the Pokemon Company charging money for them. Being oh, hey, guess what? You can get however much they cost on the 3DS eShop. I can see them charging that exact same amount on Nintendo Switch Online, right? Because even though you can play the rest of the Nintendo Online games for free, Pokemon Company always works a little differently. I could see them charging real, actual, goddamn money to do this. So yeah, maybe that's the one exception that I do see, is the Pokemon Company doing something like that. I'd hate it, but I'd still probably buy it. Specifically the Gen 2 games. So yeah, that's totally something I could see them charging money. And I'm sure it'll be hey, guess what? Gen 1 is available now. Later in the year, Gen 2 will be available. and then later in the year, right, later in summer, Gen 2, and then later in fall, Gen 3. So yeah, that's totally something I could see them doing. I think that makes sense. I know some people will hate it, but yeah. It's just realistic. What else? Because we know the Pokemon trading card game's coming. And, like, the Pokemon trading card game is a cult classic. I don't know, I mean, I'm sure it did well at the time, but in the modern day, it's mostly remembered as, right, for being a cult classic, and for teaching people how to play the card game. Because the Pokemon card game was a lot more confusing than the Yu-Gi-Oh card game. At least that's my personal opinion on things. So yeah, what else? Pokemon Home could be getting some updates. You know, because Scarlet and Violet still doesn't have support yet. So that's still something they need to do, add support for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. But also, you know, if these new games are getting support as well, they gotta promote that. So I can realistically see Pokemon Home getting discussed real quick. And then Scarlet and Violet DLC. We all know Scarlet and Violet DLC has been leaked forever now, right? We even know the legendaries. One of them is going to be like a Suicune. The other one's going to be Virizion. That has been leaked for ages now. So we know that's coming eventually. The bigger question is, something that I've seen speculated recently, and I want to say this is based on a 4chan rumor, is that the DLC is going to be different based on whether you have Scarlet or Violet. Right? If you have Scarlet, it's going to be one thing. If you have, like, if it's going to be, like, a past theme. And then if you have Violet, it's going to be, like, a future theme. It might just be the same area, but at least one of the DLCs, it sounds like it's going to be different. Like, it might just, like, be the same area with a different paint of coat on it. Different coat of paint. You know what I mean. But we don't know. So that's interesting. Of course, I've seen a lot of speculation about some turtle thing that, you know, is responsible for Terra raids, or for Terra evolutions and whatnot. And yeah, you know what, sure. I don't know where everyone's getting this turtle stuff from, but sure. What's the other... The other big thing I kept seeing was, oh, God damn it. You take priority. Stupid freaking... the other thing, I know a lot of people want Mega Evolutions, a lot of people want Kalos. I guess in some sort of Pokemon Home rumor, there was like an image of like all the Pokemon. It might have been a leak from the game, I don't know. But I guess in that, there are Mega Evolutions. Right, it's every Pokemon and Mega Evolutions. So we might be getting Mega Evolutions. I don't know. I know people want them. Mega Evolutions are a fan favorite. Even if, right, gameplay-wise... you know, I don't know. The thing about Mega Evolutions is I feel like some people love them, some people hate them, and it's really hard to tell which is... Right, which is the truth. So yeah, we'll see. And then, anything else? Now, you know, they're gonna have some sort of, like, montage or whatever. These things always end with a montage or a music video or something. So that's how they end it. Maybe we have a new anime coming up. Maybe they'll show off, because I guess they showed off the first, like, preview of the new anime, where, like, we learned that one of the kids' names is Roy, and he's got, like, a special, like, special Pokeball that, you know, I've already seen people jokingly compare to the GS Ball from Gen 2. So, yeah, we'll see if something like that ends up happening. Anything else? Pokemon Day? Not really. I don't know. Again, I know it's sometime. I don't think it's next week, but it's the week after that. So it's right around the corner. It's like, are we going to be revisiting Kalos? Probably not. And I do not expect any Pokemon remakes or anything. No Gen 5 remake. No Let's Go Johto. Whatever the fuck you want to call it. None of that. I don't see any of that happening. Just realistically. Because one, I think they're going to spend a year on Gen 9. At least a year. And two... do we need Pokemon remakes? Because, you know, for all the people wanting the Gen 4 remake, people fucking hated the Gen 4 remake. And now you want a Gen 5 remake that's probably going to fuck things up just as much? Right? Like, Legends Arceus was good. I'd rather just have them make a brand new game in the Legends Arceus style than making making fucking Legends Kyrene or whatever. Legends Keldeo? You know what I mean. We don't need a new... We don't need it. We didn't need a Gen 4 remake. We didn't need a Gen 3 remake. Boom, that's my hot take for you. We don't need Pokemon remakes. The only reason they happen is because of Gen 1 and 2. You couldn't play Gen 1 or Gen 2 games on Game Boy, or you couldn't transfer Pokemon from Gen 1 and 2 on Game Boy Advance over to Gen 3. So that's why they had to remake Gens 1 and 2. But since then, you know, there's been no reason for us to remake any other generations. I don't know. I know I'm in the minority on that. Like, at least, like, Let's Go Eevee and at least it tried to do some different things. Did it always succeed at those different things? No. But it tried. And fucking, if you're playing Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee on docked mode, you fucked up. Just straight up, that's how it is. But playing on console mode, that's fine. Or playing in handheld. Console mode sucks. Handheld mode is fine. That game fucking sucks. And if you've never played it, that game fucking sucks. Like, trying to use Joy-Cons on your TV? Nah. But non-TV, you've got an aiming reticle. And I can work with that. Alright, so I guess that takes us to WIBE. So, what have I been playing? Well, we've got a lot of TV shows to talk about today. Some stuff I forgot to talk about one thing I forgot to talk about last week, a different show, and Ant-Man. But before we get to any of that stuff, what games? So last week I talked about Little Gator Game. I really enjoyed Little Gator Game. And I did go back and I did beat it. I did not 100% it. But I did go back and I did beat it. And I did like all the side quests. I went out and found all the side quests and everything. And it's really good. It's just, right, it did scratch my Breath of the Wild itch. Because that's what it really reminds me of. And I love after you beat the game, right, if you do enough of, like, the side quests and whatnot, or if you find all the monkeys, you can get unlimited stamina. And you get, like, balloons that allow you... Basically, that work, you know, they're your Rivali's Gale. And you can fucking, with infinite stamina, you can basically go up as high as you want. So, like, that was really... Right, that was me in the post-game. Just, like, fucking around with that. Getting as high as possible. Because infinite stamina. So, yeah, I had fun with that. What else did I have fun with? Ah, crap. So yeah, Little Gator Game, you know, it's a really cute game. I talked about it last week, but just as how it works is you're this little kid your sister has come home from college, and you and your friends are trying to create, like, this game world to impress your sister to, you know, hopefully get her to play with you. And it's very meta. Like, there's, like, there's, like, you come across this kid who's scared of heights. And it's like, oh, we're playing the game. If I fall, then I'll take fall damage. And your character's like, this game doesn't have fall damage. Oh, okay. And now the kid's no longer scared of heights. Right? It's shit like that. That's, like, very lighthearted, very fun. Because all the kids know they're playing a game. And they're self-referential about it. And there's tons of, like, that's the main example that I can think of. But there's tons of other stuff like that as well. That it all works very well. It's all very cute. I liked it. I liked it a lot. It should not be a surprise at all that it's probably going to make my Game of the Year list. Just heads up on that right now. Right? I know it's definitely not going to be number 1, because probably Tears of the Kingdom, maybe. Spider-Man 2, maybe. Right? It's got some steep competition. But at the moment, yeah. At the first, like, 2 months of the year, oh, 100%. It's my fucking Game of the Year at the moment. Love this cute little gator game. Yeah, the island is fun to adventure on, to explore on. So yeah, that all works really well. The exploration, the climbing. Again, it's Breath of the Wild. You like Breath of the Wild, you will like Little Gator Game. It's cute, it's charming. You know, there's the main story that you can do in any order, actually. The main story is generally divided up into 3 parts. That, yeah, you can roughly do in any order. Alright, like... And it's like one of those things where it's like, oh, I didn't even realize I was doing it. Like there was one point where it's like, oh, I found these kids. Oh, wait, I was supposed to come here? Because I didn't even notice the windmill. And I'll be honest, that's just me, poor observation. Because I was focusing more on the beach. And I just kind of climbed up to it. And I somehow I just didn't look up and notice the windmill. Yeah, and then later on I was like, oh, there's something hidden at the windmill, isn't there? So I went back, and sure enough. And I was like, oh, shit. Cool. Because there's no map in this game. Right? There's no map in Little Gator Game. You just kind of gotta explore and find what you find. Holy crap. We were getting cornered there at the end. So the other thing I played... So the Kirby Return to Dreamland comes out this Friday. And they put out a demo... And I played the demo, and yep, it's Kirby's Return to Dreamland. I got to use the new power-up, Sandstorm. And, you know, it's fine. It's a fine power-up. It's not really anything special, but it works fine. But I got to use that. And I played some of that. I played some of the mini-game, the cannon shooter mini-game. You know, that all worked well enough. So I like that. But then I was like, you know, I want to play a Kirby game, but I still don't want to buy, right, the new Return to Dreamland. I really don't see much of a justification in getting it. So, instead I'm going to play Star Allies again. So I booted up Star Allies for the first time, probably since the last DLC came out. Yeah, I'd probably say since the last DLC. So it's been a while. God, this thing runs out of ink so easily. Oh my god. This may be the most powerful weapon in the game, but it definitely comes at a cost. So yeah, Star Allies, I saw a YouTube video. One of the reasons why I wanted to play Star Allies again is someone made a YouTube, right, one of those like hour and a half long YouTube video essays talking about how Star Allies was a good game. And I've been one of the people to defend Star Allies in the past. I've said it was a good game. And yeah, watching that video again, because like I saw, was it Ant Dude? I think it was Ant Dude, who in his tier list of Kirby's games put Star Allies as like the second worst of the mainline games, just in front of the original Game Boy Kirby, which is way too fucking harsh, by the way. That's so fucking harsh for what is genuinely a good game. Is it as good as Planet Robobot? No. But it's, or maybe even not, I don't even know if it's as good as Triple Deluxe. Is it better than Return to Dreamland? Probably not, but maybe. I could see the argument being made for that one. But no, I'm like, that's fucking way too mean. So I watched the video essay and I was like, yeah, no, they're completely right. I listened to it, let's be real here. I don't watch video essays, I listen to them. And I listened to it, and yeah, she did a really great job defending the game, and yeah, I agree with most of her points. So yeah, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna play Kirby Star Allies again. And I did, and I liked it. Yeah. I have not done everything. You know, I played through the first, 3 worlds? And the final world is like half the game. Like, I know people are like, oh, there's only 4 worlds in this game, that sucks. But when the final world has as many levels as the other 3 combined. Right? That's just kind of how things go here. So yeah, so I still have the last world to do. But so far, you know, I'm enjoying it. It is... Again, part of me, I definitely do not think it's as good as some of the other Return to Dreamland inspired games. Right? Like, I'll always give Triple Deluxe and Planet Robobot more credit. But it's not bad at all. And I love the Dream Buddies thing. I think all that stuff is really cool. Getting Marks, getting Magalore, getting fucking DeRoach, Susie. Tons of good, fun characters that I'm always happy to see again. And yeah, I was happy to see them again in this. But yeah, eventually, you know, I'm gonna beat the game, then I'll do the guest stars, then I'll do the DLC. But but part of me is also sidetracked with Splatoon right now. And getting, and, you know, trying to get that max rank in the season. You know, it sucks because, you know, right, like, I bought Animal Crossing digital version, and I don't regret it, right? I was like, even though a majority of the games I buy are digital only, or, physical, right? Like, I buy all my games physical, because I still believe in physical storage systems. Every once in a while, there's a game where I'm like, you know, I wish I had bought this digitally. And I think I've realized it's games that you'll want to play every day. Because then you don't have to, like, change out cartridges or anything. And yeah, so yeah, having to change out the cartridge every day for Splatoon 3, right, I just wish I didn't have to do it. Oh, I was trying to lure. Whatever. Right, like, because Animal Crossing, I didn't have to change out the cartridge once, and that was super convenient. I wish I didn't have to do the same thing for Splatoon, because then I could just be playing Kirby and Splatoon at the same time, you know, switching back and forth between them. But no, at the moment, right, I had to stop playing Kirby to, you know, boot up Splatoon, because I gotta get to that max rank before the new season. That's the only way. The only way. Because again, live service games are second jobs. We all know it's true. It's the ugly truth. They're jobs that you have to pay for instead of getting paid to do. So, yeah. What else have I been playing? Have I been playing anything else? We talked about Super Mario Land last week. I mentioned how my Nintendo Switch Online runs out in like a few days. Or in a few hours, I mean. Like, probably by the time we finish this stream, it'll be up. I did go find my copy of Breath of the Wild. So I fully intend to, in March, I'm going to stream Breath of the Wild. I have not played it for, what, 6, 7 years now. I'm excited to play it again. So my goal is in March, we are going to play Breath of the Wild again. That's the plan. And I went and found my copy. I bought the DLC. I haven't checked out the DLC. Right, I haven't done anything. I haven't even loaded it into my system yet. But I bought the DLC, and in March we're going to check it out. I'm super excited to play through it again. Right? But I can wait for it because I played Little Gator Game. And that scratched the itch. Yeah, I have been playing Splatoon 3. Been putting some time into Mario race cars. Where are you guys? Oh, sweet. Oh, I missed. Okay. We did fine either way. Yeah, I can't think of anything else I've been playing. It's mainly just been Splatoon 3 and Kirby. Because yeah, I don't think I'm picking up the new Kirby game. I don't know. You know, I may have so much fun with Return Star Allies that I'm like, oh, I've got to pick up the new game. But I just don't think that's going to happen. Just being realistic here. So I guess that leads us into the TV stuff. So the first thing is, I meant to talk about this last week. Because I had watched it last week, but I didn't write it down. So we didn't talk about it. That being Harley Quinn's Valentine's Day special. So Harley Quinn had a Valentine's Day special that was called... Give me a second, I will find it. It was like the very... Okay, whatever. So Harley Quinn had a and it was like the that's like the not safe for TV Valentine's Day special. And yeah, no, the show is still fantastic. God, you know, it's one of those things where it's like any day now I feel like it's going to be canceled. Because, you know, every other great animation is getting canceled right now. But God, I hope it doesn't. Because it's really good. And yeah, the Valentine's Day special is fantastic. So it's broken up into multiple segments. One of them is Bane. And right, he's lonely and looking for love on Valentine's Day. And he ends up getting involved with with a woman who does BDSM stuff for hire. And they end up kind of hooking up, but you know, Bane doesn't have a big dick, obviously. So he's feeling a little insecure about it. Of course, Harley is trying to give Ivy the perfect Valentine's Day. And she's trying, right, like, Ivy just wants to sit in and watch HBO. Sponsored, right? Hashtag not sponsored. Well, they totally are, but you know what I mean. Right? I want to say they do call that out at some point. Right? So that's what Ivy wants. But Harley Quinn wants to go out and give her a special night. So she takes Ivy out to her favorite Italian place, gives her a new Italian dish, then arranges this like heist where they have to kill some people, including like fucking like oil CEO or something. It's something like that. And you know, with the goal of making it a perfect Valentine's Day for her. But of course, even though Ivy says it's perfect, right? Harley suspects her of lying, and then literally steals the lasso of truth, and finds out that it's right, the Valentine's Day that was supposed to be perfect, it's top 3. So yeah, it's a very right. That's very fun, and eventually those two stories collide with one another, because in order to satisfy Ivy, Harley gets a potion from Etrigan that makes her like a love goddess to give Ivy the best orgasm. Meanwhile, Bane gets a potion to grow his tiny dick. And it all backfires and it makes Bane grow giant. And Ivy orgasms so hard, everyone in town gets like super horny. It all culminates with the Clayface. Clayface has a whole thing about being in love with his own ass. Right? Where he basically gets cut in half. I don't remember who cuts him in half. Oh, Captain Boomerang. Captain Boomerang cuts him in half. And so, yeah, he ends up falling in love with his own ass. And there's this whole concert thing, and Bane is giant and horny, and he's literally destroying every building he walks by humping it to death. Until, yeah, it falls apart. It gets crazy. And throughout this entire thing, there's all these stitches of, like, other superheroes talking about, like, their Valentine's Day, right? Like, how they met, how they fell in love. And there are some great ones. The Superman one is actually very cute. The Superman's one is cute. I fucking love the idea of Darkseid being a speaker at the Republican National Convention. And that's where he met whoever the girl is supposed to be that he's dating. Part of me thinks it's like Melania Trump or something like that, but it could also be anybody else. But I think that's very funny, right? Darkseid being a Republican, yeah, very on brand. Again, they made Joker a socialist, which Joker's like, there's one little bit in the section. The idea of Joker as a stepdad, so fucking funny. And then someone reminded me of the Telltale Batman games. Because, right, the whole bit between Harley Quinn and Ivy is that, right, Joker gives the orders, he's the abusive one, and Harley just does whatever he says. But in the Telltale games, they switched it. Joker is the one who's madly in love, and is doing whatever Harley says. Which is just I don't know if it entirely works, but it's a very interesting take on the character nevertheless. So, like, right, like, as something to try, yeah, sure, let them do it. Right, there's no problem with that. So yeah, that was something I was reminded of the other day. As something that exists. Where did that? Oh shit. But yeah, overall, and then, you know, it ends with them, Bane doesn't even shrink back to normal, but the girl still, right, goes out with him, because he's giant, and that, by process, makes it... And they do a lot of clever things with the editing, where it's like, oh, well, what if we, right, we're gonna hide Bane's giant, tiny dick behind, like, buses and billboards and whatnot. So they have some fun with, the editing and the visuals. They do all that. And yeah, it actually... You know, Bane is like the fucking butt end of the joke in this show constantly. But no, this is the one time Bane actually kind of gets a happy ending. And, you know, good for Bane. Good for Bane. He deserves it. And then you find out Poison Ivy, right, the reason why she doesn't think this Valentine's Day is her perfect Valentine's Day is because you find out the one she does think is perfect is the one where she met Harley, right, where Harley was nice to her and treated her like a human being. That's what makes her perfect Valentine's Day. And that's very heartwarming. You know, like, we've gotten flashbacks to Harley and Ivy in the past. That was very cute. I got stuck with the worst fucking sub-weapon in this thing. Like, I would have taken the fucking Splatana before I taken this thing. Holy shit. This fucking sucks. God, I hate this thing. We're so fucked here. God damn, I fucking hate this bow. Oh my god. Where is Kohozuna? This fucking bow sucks. God, I hate this bow so much. God, I fucking hate that bow. If I had had anything but a bucket as well, we could have done fine. But getting that bow just completely fucked me. Oh, God, I hate it. So yeah, the Harley Quinn, A Very Problematic Valentine's Day Special was very good. I did enjoy it. I thought it was fun. I thought it was cute. I liked it. You know, yeah, the show is still great. God, I hope we get more of it. I haven't read any of the recent, like, I was reading the comics for a while. I haven't read any of the recent comics. But I still love the show, man. And yeah, I hope we get more. There's still plenty of more things they could do. It's a fantastic show. Next up, the other show I've been watching is recently Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur finally came out. So everyone saw that clip of Childish Gambino, where they used the Childish Gambino song during one of the fight scenes. And that was what got me interested in the show, where I was like, oh, you know, this might actually be very good. Oh, okay. Like, I know they're censoring Childish Gambino, but that's fine. Who cares? If anything, that kind of makes me like it more. Right, that they're willing to use a song like that and just, you know, have fun with it. Right, they know what good music is. And there's tons of good music in the show. I'll just preempt that right now. They do tons of shit like that. But yeah, so that was the clip that originally got me interested in the show itself. Where I was like, oh, okay, color me curious. And I knew it was coming out. But, you know, Disney does that thing that they've been doing for all their shows recently. Where they put the first episode on YouTube. And I was like, oh, okay, cool, I'll watch the first episode. And I should say, I don't know much about Moon Girl in the comics. I think I've seen her show up in a few, like, crossover events, or the Champions, right, stuff like that. But I don't actually know much about the character, other than the fact that I want to say she's, like, fucking OP as hell. Yeah, I want to say Moon Girl is pretty OP. That sounds right. Like, she's got, right, I know she's, like, one of the smartest characters in the Marvel Universe. She's got, basically, like, immortality. Like, she's got, like, a super healing factor. And, you know, she's got a freaking dinosaur. Right, all this crazy stuff. But, I don't want to call her, I don't want to use the MS word. Because I've never read, I've only seen her show up in other people's stuff. So I wouldn't honestly know. Like, the character I think of when Marvel comes to Mary Sue's is Mantis. Mantis in the comics is a Mary Sue. By gummit. And yeah, the movies make her so much better. Because she's the celestial Madonna in the comics. God, don't even get me into that. But, yeah, I don't know enough about Moon Girl. So for the show, I'm assuming they scaled her down. I don't know. She does go across against the Beyonder in the 6th episode, so maybe not. No, actually, she does kind of lose that. Kind of. So yeah, I just knew she was a smart kid who had a dinosaur, something to do with her figuring out time travel or something like that. And yeah, that's kind of how it goes. So in the first episode, right, she's this genius kid, but there's all these like blackouts going on at where she lives. It's somewheres in New York. I don't. Is it the Lower East End? I don't remember where it is. I just know, right, her area in New York is dealing with all these blackouts, and so in order to help, she's trying to make a futuristic power generator. And so she has this design from this famous NASA scientist who doesn't have a name and is just called Moon Girl, or who everyone calls Moon Girl because they don't have a name, which part of me wonders if time travel, that is Moon Girl, right? I know time travel's a thing in comics. Is this other Moon Girl, right? Is this other girl just our Moon Girl? I don't know. They don't look too similar, but you never know with things like these, right? Basically, she went back in time, she created this person, gave her a name, then made her disappear, and then, she basically gave herself the blueprints for her time machine to find Devil Dinosaur. I don't know. It's possible. It is totally possible. But yeah, but she eventually, right, she opens the wormhole, goes back in time, finds, the Devil Dinosaur comes in. She befriends it, of course, because, it's a good dinosaur. It's the nice dinosaur. Oh, that was a Disney movie, The Good Dinosaur. And then they go on fighting crime, and their first villain is Elektra. Elektra? Is Elektra the right? Oh, we needed one more. Shit. I thought we had reached... It's Livewire. Livewire is who I was thinking of, not Elektra. Elektra is Daredevil's girlfriend. No, I'm thinking of Livewire, the Superman villain. Yeah. The villain. I don't remember her name, but she's basically just Livewire from DC Comics. So that's the first villain she goes against, and she eventually picks out the name Moon Girl for herself. By that, her best friend is it's her best friend, Casey. But it's also her, manager, because she's got, an obsession with, money and social media and, trying to make Moon Girl famous, which we're past the point of, selling out, right? Characters are just allowed to be in it for the money, because, capitalism's such a fucking shit show. Selling out died with the 90s, right? Because nobody... then again, I say that, but fucking A Star Is Born... the Lady Gaga one. That was a big point of the movie. But then you have characters like Ochaka. However you pronounce it. Where her big thing is that she wants to make money to support her parents. So, the more things change, the more they stay the same. Blah, blah, blah. You can never win. Fuck capitalism. That's what it all comes down to. But no, her whole thing is, social media influence, making money. And I like her. I like Casey. She doesn't do an insane amount, but I like her. And then we get, so they eventually, right, they lose to Livewire. Moon Girl considers hanging it up, because Livewire becomes the high school physics teacher. But no, eventually she goes back, she defeats Livewire after her parents' business goes out of business. Because her parents and grandparents run a roller ring. Which, I like them. I like the parents, I like the grandparents. They all do their own things, and they're all fun in their own ways. But yeah, so I watched the first episode, and I was like, yeah, this is pretty good. And then I watched the second episode, which, it's just something I've gotten used to, is characters fighting literal trolls. Right? Because I know that was a big thing in Miss Marvel, was when they fought an internet troll that was literally just a living internet virus. I remember that being a big thing there. I don't remember the character's name at all. And then they became a preppy high school girl, which, sure, okay. But yeah, so they fight they literally fight a symbiote that is a troll that feeds off of negative energy, and like trying to like fight it only makes it right, you know, feeding the trolls, right? That's how they feed it, and it grows bigger. So that was, you know, that was a fine second episode. And then I was like, okay, 2 episodes, and more will be coming out in the coming weeks. Okay, and then I was on Disney Plus last night, and I saw that they just had the first 6 episodes. Right, the first 2 episodes I watched on YouTube, because they released them on YouTube. But then I was like, oh, I guess I gotta wait for the next few. And I had no idea how many seasons there are, how many episodes there are in the season. I still don't even know. Right now, there's only 6. I don't know if there's going to be more than 6 or whatnot. But yeah, I was like, oh, okay, they've got the first few episodes on YouTube. That's cool. Or at least the first, like, 2. And then, yeah, so, because every advertisement promo I've seen for the show says that new episodes release every Saturday. But no, the first 6 episodes are up on Disney Plus. And maybe more episodes will be releasing on Saturday. Today, but I do not know. But no, so from there, you get a bunch of other episodes. Episode 3 has the Childish Gambino thing, like I was saying. They fight a gravity villain, and it's a great scene. And that, I feel like episode 3 is the one that really kicks off the trend of like, hey, we're going to have Moon Girl fight the villains set to a soundtrack. And yeah, it always works great. The 4th episode, she fights a supercomputer. That, you know, I actually felt kind of bad when the supercomputer turned evil. Because, right, it's like, they explain it as, like, there's this computer that has human emotions. But its primary objective is that it just wants to be friends. Right? It wants to be friends with people. And so it thinks it's finally made a friend with Lunella. But then she kind of, like, abuses their friendship. Because, you know, Lunella right... She's a Brennan Lee Mulligan. If she's going to play a board game, she's going to win. She refuses to have it any other way. So she kind of abuses her friendship with the supercomputer. But then in the end, she helps it out. They waterlog it, and then they unwaterlog it by freezing it in rice, which I thought was funny. I thought it was funny. And yeah, so now the supercomputer, you know, maybe it'll show up in future episodes, maybe not. You know, it'd be interesting to see more of it. Because, yeah, I like whoever voices it does a really good job. The next episode is... What the heck was the next episode? Oh, Bad Hair Day. Because they do a whole episode about hair. Where, you know, some girl comments on Lunella's hair. Right? And so they do a whole about the history of black women's hair. And how, right, it's something that they're shamed for. But they shouldn't feel shamed for it. Right? It's who they are. And, yeah, that's very good. Good. I don't know. I'm not black, so I don't know. And I'm a guy. Guys don't give a shit about their hair. You know, we just cut it and it looks fine. Admittedly, I do not cut mine. So yeah, I especially don't give a shit about my hair. I really should. But yeah, I don't. But yeah, so that episode was, right, her fighting against her hair, and then, you know, basically, her hair is like the evil clone version of her. But, you know, in the end, it all works out, and she agrees to respect her hair more. A good ending. Good ending for a good episode. And then the final episode. So far, every, like, villain that had shown up in the show up to this point, no idea, never heard of any of them. And then she comes across the fucking Beyonder. Because so far into the show, like, they had like, a narrator who would, like, explain, like, villain origins and whatnot. And then in the final episode, or at least episode 6, you find out that the narrator is the Beyonder. So the Beyonder, in comic books, this is a character I do recognize. He's the one who kicks off Secret Wars. Not the 2016 Secret Wars, the original 1980s Secret Wars. At least I think it was 1980s. You know, the one that gave Spider-Man his black costume, the one that did all that stuff, the one that was killed by Dr. Doom. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're basing him off of the original Beyonder. And his whole thing is, right, he's come to Earth to judge it, basically. Whether or not humans deserve to live, whether or not he's going to exterminate all of humanity. And, you know, honestly, I could see, right, he's a very comical character, But honestly, I kind of like the original Beyonder. I never read Secret Wars 2. I know the Beyonder played a bigger role and came to Earth in Secret Wars 2. But the Beyonder, right, his whole thing in the original Secret Wars was that he was running an experiment between good and evil. And this character, right, while he's different, I could totally see this guy running the experiment between good and evil. Right? He's kind of weird like that. Because the Beyonder is kind of fucking stupid. Right? You know, I know we're eventually going to see him in the MCU. Don't know who they're going to get to voice him and play him. But he's fucking stupid. God, I hope they don't adapt Secret Wars 2. Even, like, I could see them doing it as a TV show. But God, the things I've heard about Secret Wars 2. Let's just say it's not all that positive. See, what we gotta do is we gotta load all these golden eggs up onto the lift. And if we can do that... Where's... Okay, there's the next egg pouch. Oh yeah, eggs are worth 2 in this mode. I completely forgot about that. So yeah, the whole thing with the Beyonder is he's trying to judge whether or not Earth should be destroyed. Because I know later on in future, in maybe Secret Wars, the 2016 reboot or remake, whatever, they reveal that there's multiple Beyonders. That sounds right, but in the original there was just one. And I think in this they do hint that there are multiple Beyonders, but who gives a shit? But yeah, the Beyonder he's a weird fucking character, and I feel like they did him fine here. And again, technically Lunella, Moon Girl, cannot beat him. Them? Oh yeah, the living computer was non-binary. That was neat. That was they at the start of their chess game they swap pronouns. I might have accidentally misgendered them. Apologies for that. Again, I'm kind of not paying attention right now. Salmon Run. God. But no, no, the Beyonder, they're just kind of weird, but, you know, I really do feel like that's in line for what I know about the character. So yeah, I have no problem with that whatsoever. Let the Beyonder be weird, because you know the MCU is going to take him super seriously. Because, yeah, if he even shows up. Again, Doctor Doom kind of kills him and gets the powers of the Beyonder at some point in the comics. So that's kind of what I expect them to do. Maybe. So, yeah, we'll see how it all turns out. But yeah, so overall, you know, of the 6 episodes we have of Moon Girl so far, I do not... Literally every clip I have seen from this show comes from these 6 episodes. So I have no idea how many more there are. Right? If there's going to be more episodes, if there's going to be more seasons, if this is it. I legitimately have no idea. If there's more, cool. If we have to wait a while, we wait a while. I liked it. I do recommend. Again, it's on Disney Plus. Especially if you've got like a younger kid, they will for sure enjoy this, right? Like if you've got a kid in that, like an actual kid. But as an adult, yeah, I thought it was fine. I enjoyed it. And so I guess that takes us to the last thing of the night: Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Night. It's still the afternoon. God, I never do these shows early. So thoughts on the first 2 Ant-Men. I really like the first Ant-Man movie. I know it went through production hell, yada yada. They still spit out a pretty decent movie. Right? I'm still impressed with the first Ant-Man. I think Paul Rudd is a lot of fun. It's a heist movie. So, you know, it's got that going for it. Heist movies are fun. I don't give a shit what Rick and Morty says. Heist movies are fun. I'm not taking it too seriously. It's a fucking heist movie about a man that turns small. That's a fun concept. So yeah, I like the first Ant-Man a lot. I definitely put it high. Like, it might even make my MCU top 10. Not because it's like anything like super revolutionary or anything, but just because it's a very solid, very fun movie. Ant-Man 2 I also do like. Not as much as the first one, but I do still think it's good. I like the villain, I like the plot, cuz you know, there's this guy who once said, he was talking about Superman. But when talking about it, he said that the problem with superheroes is that every battle is a battle for the fate of the world. And when every battle is a battle for the fate of the world, it's kind of hard to have stakes. Right? It's kind of hard to keep stakes up in your story when every battle has the same stakes. Ant-Man, though, it's the second one, and the first one technically applies for this as well. But the second one specifically, no, it's not it's a very personal battle. They're trying to save Hope's mother and Hank's wife. That's it. That's the whole plot of the movie. They're not trying to do anything spectacular. They're not. If they fail, the world doesn't end. And I kind of like that. Oh, thank God, a blaster. Alright, I'm going to focus up real quick. But yeah, I just know I like the first Ant-Man movie. And I like the second one as well. I think that I like the villain Ghost. I think she's fine. I know some people don't like her, but I'm fine with her. God, respawning takes so long. We might not make it. I'd love to defeat Kohozuna at least once tonight. Oh! Oh, shit. That's the first time I've defeated that boss in like 4 months. And we still don't have a... I have never gotten a gold scale. Oh my god. Whatever. Whatever. I know it's like a 1% chance. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. God, I'm glad I got that blaster. Alright, so the new Ant-Man, I'll just say, I think it's fine. I definitely, so right now the movie's got like a 49 on Rotten Tomatoes. And I know some people are like, oh, this is critics forcing the death of the superhero movie, right? Like, they want superhero fatigue to be a thing that they're trying to manifest it into existence. I think that's giving critics a little too much credit, first of all. But, like, I kind of see where that's coming from. Like, here's the thing about Rotten Tomatoes. And I hate that I have to explain this every time. Rotten Tomatoes is not, a critic score. A 49 on Rotten Tomatoes is not the same as, like, a 40... Or as, like, a 4 out of 10 on IGN, or whatever. Or, like, a 5 out of 10. No. How Rotten Tomatoes works is it's the percentage that you will probably like the movie. So with a 49, and it might be even lower than that now, but with a 49 on Rotten Tomatoes, all that means is that there is a 49% chance that you will like the movie. That, right, it's not the same thing as, like, an IGN score. Rotten Tomatoes does also do scores like that, but they're, you know, they're in a different place, and you gotta actually read the critic scores. The Rotten Tomatoes meter works very different than, right, it's not your IGN. It doesn't work like Metacritic. I guess that's the better way to put it. It's not a Metacritic score. It's just the chance that you will like the movie. So it being at a 49 means there's a 49% chance you will like the movie. Do I think that's a little harsh? Kind of. Like, I definitely wouldn't put it that low. But I definitely do not think this movie is perfect. I think the movie is good, just not that good. You know, it's got its moments. And again, we'll get into spoilers here in a little bit. I think the movie is good, but yeah, it's not that good. It's fine. It's fine. You know, if I had to give it my own score out of 10, I would probably give it like a 7 out of 10. Maybe it'd probably be a low 7, but still a 7. I know, right, in the modern day of the IGN scale, a 7 is like the lowest score you can give a game. But you know what I mean. fucking IGN. Again, you know, I thought it was fine. I thought it was fine. Right, I liked Ant-Man in it. I wish they had more stuff to do for Hope, and the father, Hank, actually gets some cool moments. Hank gets some cool moments. They flesh out Janet's backstory a lot. Cassie, you know, she does fine in the movie. If someone counted, I guess she says, like, dad, like, 30 times, which I think is just funny. Right, the fact that, yeah, she says dad so many times. But yeah, King, Jonathan Majors, does a great job as King. I liked him. I didn't love him, and I'm definitely... Yeah, we'll see. But no, I thought it was a fine movie. The Quantum Realm is interesting, but if I had to get to one problem... So, like, we're in this, like, other world on this otherworldly adventure. But, like, I just saw another movie that was like, oh, we're in another world with another worldly adventure. And that movie was Avatar 2. And whereas Avatar 2 is, like, this beautifully designed world where you, like, believe everything in it. Right? Like, you believe the characters are there because it looks so good and it's so well done. Because, you know, they spent fucking years on it. This movie... not really. There are some shots that look fine. There are others that don't. It really is. It depends on your shot. To be fair, you know, I feel like Marvel, with like a few exceptions, Marvel has never... I feel like we need to get over this. Marvel has never had that good of CG. I know we're always like, oh, the CG in this movie sucks. As if there was a movie that had good CG at one point. But literally outside of like Thanos and like maybe like one or two other things, Marvel doesn't really have that good CG. Their most expensive movie of all time, fucking Avengers Age of Ultron. Yes, Avengers Age of Ultron cost more money than Endgame and Infinity War separately. And it starts off with some terrible CGI. Marvel has never really had... Right, I think Black Panther, the original. Great movie, CGI is not good in that movie. Right, that's most people's biggest problem with it. Marvel has just never had great CGI. Admittedly, I think this... Right, again, depending on the scene, this movie is either very good or very bad. Right, some CGI is very good, some CGI is very bad. It really just depends on what's going on. And I'm willing to cut it more slack if everything around it is good. And, like I said, it's fine. There were some characters I wish had more to do. Bill Murray is in this movie, and he does he does something, but it's basically nothing. So, like, why is he even here? The actors, I'm forgetting the actor's name, but Chidi from The Good Place is in this movie. He's a telepath, right? He can read people's minds, and he does nothing. He does nothing in this movie. And it's like, you got such a great actor, you could have done so much with him. And yeah, I feel like they do nothing. So that's kind of disappointing. Because, you know, I fucking love Cheetah, man. Fucking... The Good Place is still one of my favorite shows of all time. But yeah, so I think it's fine. I don't know. I feel like there's been both, right? Like, oh, I've seen equal amounts of the critics are wrong, this movie is good. And I've seen, no, the critics are right, this movie is bad. Usually not agreeing with the critics, right? It's the backlash to the counter backlash, which sucks, right? Internet sucks, right? The internet was a mistake, right? We all know it. But I thought the movie was fine. Right? King as our next big villain. You know, part of me actually wishes we didn't know King was the next big villain. Right? Like, if I kind of wish they hadn't revealed Avengers the King Dynasty yet. Because I feel like some of the things that happen in this movie, like, if we didn't know that was coming, it would be, like, a very big shock to be like, oh, shit. But yeah, of course they're going to do that. Because the King Dynasty. So I guess that gets us into spoilers. So I'm putting up the spoiler tag right now. So if you don't want spoilers, yeah, go away. So King... Wait, buffer clip. Millennial pause. So King fucking dies in this movie. Which, like, does that mean that King is less interest? Right? Like, this is our next big bad villain. And he's fucking got beat by Ant-Man. And, like, they're setting up at the end... So the post-credit scene, the first one anyways, is the Council of Kings. Which is something that I didn't actually really want them to do. Because the Council of Kings... Which, I mean, like... Okay, yes. So when Rick and Morty did the Council of Ricks, which is a parody of the Council of Kings, by the way. It has been... Right, that's 100% what they're parodying. They did it, and I was like, doesn't this kind of take away from the show? Doesn't this kind of make things a little too complicated? And I still kind of, like, yes, I love the Risk Atlantis mix-up, right? Evil Morty. Citadel's been destroyed twice now. Because, yeah, I think it does make things a little too complicated. And that's kind of what I feel about the Council of Kings here. Okay, somebody else has to deal with that. I can't deal with that with this weapon. The Council of Kings just makes things too complicated. Because guess what? Now that we're dealing with all these kings... Like them introducing... I knew we were coming to this. Right? It was kind of inevitable we were going to do a Council of Kings. But I really didn't want it to be true. Because, yeah, it makes things... Like, I know we're dealing with the multiverse. This is the multiverse saga, after all. But Council of Kings is just fucking stupid. You know, I'm just going to be honest here. I'm sure, hopefully they can make it work. But, like, I wonder, are they going to do the Council of Reed Richards? That's Jonathan Hickman, right? Jonathan Hickman's run. Because that would be an interesting parallel to have a Council of Reed Richards, right, against a Council of Kings. But have Reed Richards come to the same conclusion that family is more important than anything else. Because, again, technically King is, or at least Nathaniel Richards, is a descendant of Reed Richards in the comics. With the movie, they can do anything. If they don't want to make that the case, they totally can. Again, whatever goes. But no, I'm kind of worried about that. Because part of me, watching the movie and thinking about it, I'm pretty sure the King in this movie is He Who Remains from the end of Loki. Because if you remember at the end of Loki, He Who Remains says that, he says something along the lines of like, oh, when you defeat me, I will just come back. And and we'll do this all over again. You can kill me now, but none of it matters because I will inevitably return. And we'll do this whole cycle all over again. But we find out King in this movie has been banished, right? He's a banished king by all the others in the Council of Kings. So I think the King in this movie is He Who Remains before he became He Who Remains, right? Basically, in this set of the multiverse, right, everything was set up to be the same, but instead, of, right, he who remains becoming he who remains, he instead got banished by the other kings and became the king in this movie. I'm pretty, like, I know multiverse king, but just because King explains his goals to Janet at one point in this movie and says that his whole plan is, right, he's eventually going to go out into the multiverse, conquer, and then make a one definitive timeline. Which is basically the plot of right, that's what He Who Remains did. He went out, he conquered, he killed all the other kings, and created one sacred timeline. So I'm pretty sure it's not the same king, but this king in this movie would have eventually become He Who Remains. Whereas at the moment, right, because Ant-Man stopped him, now the Council of Kings can do whatever they want. That's my interpretation of this. Is it correct? God knows. Maybe. But that's how I'm choosing to interpret things. God, that's not good. So yeah, we find out, because Janet's whole, we learn about Janet's time in the quantum realm. And she explains that while there, this lost traveler who was King. And she eventually read his mind by getting connected with his Mobius chair or whatever it was called. And through that, she learned that, King plans to conquer the multiverse. So yeah, all the motivation is there for him to be He Who Remains. But there was a lot of question going into this on whether or not Ant-Man would die. And there is a moment where King, pulls Ant-Man back, and Ant-Man tells him, I don't have to beat you. I don't have to win. You just have to lose. And it's oh shit, are they right? Is Ant-Man gonna sacrifice himself to stop Kang? And no, he actually beats Kang. Kang dies because originally Kang gets beaten by a bunch of ants, but then you find out no, he's not dead. He tries to kill Ant-Man, and yeah, he fails. And then they make it they set it up as it's supposed to be some sort of sacrifice that Janet and Scott are sacrificing themselves to stop Kang. But, it's not a sacrifice because they just can portal back to the quantum realm again. And that's exactly what they do, 10 seconds later. Is they just portal back to the quantum realm. Now, Scott, interestingly, kind of at the end of Loki, they talk about how, the Kangs coming back is, a bad thing. There being, infinite Kangs is going to destroy the multiverse. And that's kind of what Scott brings, right? Scott's we defeated Kang, right? We won. And then as he's walking home, he's but what if we didn't win? I mean, Kang was trying to warn us about something, about his alternate realities. What if he wasn't lying? What if he's telling the truth? And then he kind of shrugs it off, but we all know it's true, right? That he did, right? That even though they defeated Kang, they did also kind of fuck up here. Because, it's a lose-lose scenario no matter what they do. So yeah, that all the stuff, alright, I still stand by. This movie was funny. All the stuff with Scott was funny. Hope, right? She didn't really do much, but she was fine. Who was kind of funny? MODOK. Darren as MODOK. So I know I don't know how people exactly feel about MODOK in this movie, because based on the trailers, people fucking hated him. All of a sudden, we were pretending like we gave a shit about MODOK. Nobody gives a shit about MODOK. MODOK is fucking stupid, and MODOK in this movie is fucking stupid. So he's actually pretty comic accurate, all things considered. He doesn't have the hair, and he doesn't look like he wants to die at every second of every minute. But I'd still think they nailed MODOK. But instead, MODOK's, right, he's Darren Cross, his motivation is revenge against Scott. At least that's what he says. But as you go through the movie, you learn that he actually doesn't have motivation. That, right, in the process of becoming MODOK, he just devoted himself to Kang. And once Kang has been, overthrown, he now has no purpose. Especially because he loses to Cassie. And Cassie's just don't be a dick, man. I'll give you your new purpose. Just don't be an asshole. So Darren actually sacrifices himself to beat Kang. And you get one funny moment in there when he's we died as... I've always considered you a brother, Scott. At least I died as an Avenger. Which is a joke I swear they've used before in one of these movies. I just cannot remember where. Either way, I thought it was funny. Either way, I did think it was a good joke. So yeah, and there's a bunch of other shit like that with him being MODOK. But yeah, I thought it was funny. King, right? Because I know I had those mixed feelings about Gore, whether or not they played Gore up for jokes, and but they do not play King up for jokes at all. He doesn't joke or anything. I don't think. I may be forgetting something, but no, he is actually a pretty intimidating threat, right? He comes to Scott and is like, "I want you to steal the power source from my chair, and if you don't do it, I'm gonna kill your daughter." He's very blatant, very explicit about that. Again, as an overarching villain, I definitely get why they're building up Kang. Of course, they're inevitably going to replace him with Doctor Doom. But right, I get where the interest in Kang comes from. Him as the villain of the next Avengers movie. Yeah, I see where that is. Right, I get that. Right, but Kang's kind of fucking stupid. Right, we gotta, I saw someone say that you can tell how serious a piece of media is based in indirect correlation to how serious its fan base takes it. If the fan base takes it super seriously, the piece of media is not that serious and maybe not that good. Meanwhile, if the fan base makes fucking jokes and quips about it, then the media is like super good. And the example they use is, right, comparing Marvel to Breaking Bad. That, right, Breaking Bad fans just make a bunch of stupid jokes. I mean, have you seen those Mario Kart edits, man? Those are so fucking funny. But it's a very serious, very well done piece of media. Meanwhile, Marvel fans take these movies so fucking seriously. So, right, there's a direct inverse correlation between that. And, I kind of agree. Kind of like how we can judge the size of a fandom based on how much fan fiction is written about things. Or, no, wait. You can judge cultural impact based on fan fiction. Yeah, that's it. Right, I agree with that statement as well. And yeah, here. If a fan base takes its piece of work super seriously, then maybe it's not as good. Even though, I enjoy these movies. I think the MCU movies are a lot of fun. Doesn't mean they're all fucking 10 out of 10 amazing things. I can have fun with something like this, and then turn around and watch something like fucking Tar, and also be like, yeah, this is really good as well. And enjoy them for what they are as individual products. Right? Fucking media criticism and media literacy fucking sucks. I don't know why anybody does this. It just makes you miserable. And I'm talking all media criticism. I mean, I saw Girlfriend's Reviews put out a video on Hogwarts Legacy today. I know, don't even get me started on all that shit. Go watch the Jimquisition's video on it. They did a fantastic job explaining it. Way better than I ever could, because, they actually have experience. Whereas I'm a cis Hispanic male, right? I know nothing. They nailed it, in my opinion. But again, right, my one cis recommendation is what, like a quarter an ally recommend, or my one ally recommendation is a quarter an actual queer person's recommendation. Something like that. God, go watch Game Changers, man. It's so fucking good. But no, media criticism fucking sucks. Video games suck. Movies suck. I don't know, has there been any big controversy in books recently? I mean, other than, Joanne existing. Again, I'm counting that as games for the purpose of today. But yeah, so overall, I like that, man. I thought it was fine. What else do I gotta say on it? Anything else? What other random shit do I have to say? Yeah, visually, like, the other thing, and this was not my original somebody else had this idea first, but I agree with them. This movie, Ant-Man, feels like a Star Wars movie. That's kind of what it reminds me of. Because, right, like, you're in this other, like, alien world with all these alien creatures. But on top of that, you're fighting against an oppressive government regime, right? You're working with the natives to free the people. And I know that's Avatar, but that's also Star Wars. Yeah, no, this movie does kind of remind me a lot of a Star Wars movie. Specifically, if I had to say one, I'd say Solo. Which is not a bad thing. Like, I liked Solo. I thought it was fine. Nothing amazing, but nothing bad either. No, honestly, Solo or Rogue One, not bad comparisons. So yeah, that's a good one. But yeah, it does remind me a lot of like an Avatar or a Star Wars. Right, you've got the weird creatures, the guy with no holes, the fucking the evil empire. Now, I did, like, there was, right, where you find out, because I don't think they ever call it Chronopolis, but I did like that, because one of the things I do know about Kang is that, right, when he goes back to the past, he usually takes, like, an entire army with him. So when you find out he's not just taking his chair, he's taking the entire city, I was like, yeah, that's a very Kang thing to do. Yeah, I'm interested in Kang. I'm just not interested in the Council of Kangs. What else? What else do I have to say? I don't know. I feel like there's so much I'm forgetting about this movie. As a kickoff to Phase 5, I think it's a fine, right? It's fine. I know, right? I'm sure some people are disappointed, right? Like, with the end of, changing phases in the MCU, at this point, kind of feels like changing the year. Like, we say things are different, but how different are they actually? Like, right, we say, oh, we're in Phase 5 now, it's going to be different, it's going to be better than Phase 4. Even though I did like a fair few things in Phase 4. Phase 4 had its good moments, for sure. Yeah, do I recommend it? I guess. I mean, I do definitely think there are worse movies to see. You know what it honestly kind of feels like in a lot of ways? Fucking Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Whereas, right, like, I walked out of that movie being like, yeah, this is a fine movie. But, right, when you compare it to another Multiverse of Madness movie, or a movie with a multiverse that was kind of mad, right, it just kind of, like, pales in comparison. Right? Like, yeah, Doctor Strange is fine, but it's not as good compared to something like Everywhere's Everywhere, Everything Everywhere All at Once. And yeah, this movie's fine, but when you compare a movie about, like, a sci-fi other world, it's just not as good as Avatar. And Avatar's not even that great, but, like, visually, it really kind of suckers you in, and it's kind of doing some of the same themes. Right, admittedly, is this one a white savior movie? I mean, Cassie does kind of come in and tell these people that she's gonna save them, or at least help inspire their rebellion and whatnot, and she does save the leader. So in some ways it kind of is, I guess. I don't think this is right, even if it is, it's not as bad as Avatar, because, I mean, yeah, God. I mean, at least Cassie's not doing, like, fucking... What would it be, microface? I mean, are they? Because they shrink themselves. Whatever, semantics aside, honestly, I easily compare this movie to Avatar. And, while, yes, they both have their problems, they both do have their merits. I don't know, I guess, I feel like I've grown softer on Avatar since the second one. Like, I can't be bothered to be as mad. Even though I wasn't mad, I was more indifferent about the first Avatar. And I just can't be bothered to be that anymore. It's like, fucking cares. Alright, I think this is where we're ending off. So let's do this Kohozuno, and let's end this. Shall we? Let's fucking lose this fight. Please give me something. I got our only Brella. Shit. Oh, this isn't going to be fun. Oh my god, I hate that. We're fucked. 3 Stampers is an awful, awful luck. Yeah, 3 Stampers. Oh my gosh. I mean, I guess it could have been worse. I don't know. It's gonna cut. We're gonna potentially cut it close. Yeah, no, we lost. We're cutting it close. Like I said, we're gonna cut it close. But no, we didn't do it. Ah, shit. At least we got 1 win. Still, I'll never get another gold. I'll never get a single gold pellet. Ah, that sucks. Alright, let's cash out. I'm done. Alright, we got our first clear of the day. So I've got 15 levels to go, and I've got 10, 11 days to do it. I think I can probably get 15 levels in 10-ish days. Probably. Let's swap for chunks. Swap for chunks. Part of me would actually rather have the new one. Swap for chunks. It sucks giving up that 2-star, but I actually like swim speed better. Now let's swap for chunks. No, God, no. The headgear's good. Oh, I'll take the new one. Yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean, I only broke like 10 silver clams like last month. And I've never gotten a gold. And there's so much stuff to unlock in here. And I've seen like none of it. Ah, it breaks my heart. Breaks my heart. So yeah, so what's coming in the next week? Well, I want to do Pokemon. Some point in this next week, I want to do Pokemon. Right? We got to rebeat all the gyms, and then we got to do the tournament stuff. I want to do that sometime soon. So maybe sometime in the next week, that would be very cool. You know, I'd love to do it tomorrow. We'll see. I don't know. I do have stuff tomorrow to do as well. So I'd probably not. But it would be cool. I want this flower. I saw that previously, and I didn't have enough money to buy it. No, I don't need that. Do I? Probably not. I want that flower, though. I use up so much. God, they're adding all sorts of new gear to the new update, and I've used up all of mine. Alright, well, my amiibo give me stuff. It has not been recently, so I doubt it. Still working on all that amiibo gear. Nope, it never wants to give me any amiibo gear. I don't know why. I don't... See, like, it would make sense if, like, I could only get one piece of amiibo gear every 24 hours. That would make sense. But that's not how it works. For some reason, it's been probably 3 days, and I've got nothing for 3 days. I scan it, it gives me nothing, and then I try again the next day. I don't get it. So yeah, some point, I would love to do it tomorrow. Just wake up early, do it. Because I don't know, I don't think it's going to take that long. But who knows? Who knows? But my Nintendo Switch Online also runs out in, like I said, like, an hour. Less than an hour at this point, so yeah. But I don't think that really matters. Anything... like I said, and then on my next plan, right, the next game we're doing... Because technically we've been done with Pokemon for a while. The next game we are for sure doing is Breath of the Wild. And we are doing it... Whatever March 3rd, I think, is the release date. Whatever that day is, that's the day we're going to start doing Breath of the Wild. And, you know, I'll probably play it throughout the entire month. Maybe, like, every once in a while we'll get back to it. And, you know, maybe eventually I'll wake up. Oh, yeah, there was this whole thing with Minion memes on Twitter. So Minions are showing up in this game. Who cares? It's a long story. Yeah, and the new update, 11 days away. So, yeah. And, you know, it's funny, I don't even remember. I saw the original Minion meme while I was walking around the plaza earlier today. Or was that yesterday? I don't know. I saw it somewheres. It's in here somewheres. The original one that kicked it off. Whatever. Yeah, see, I like this lobby, right? I like you go up there, you come down here. I know it's right, it's more of like a circular shape, whereas the original lobby was just like, it's everything in one big place, whereas this, you got to do some more walking. Theoretically, again, you can just kind of teleport wherever you want to go. But I don't know, there's a certain charm to that. I still will probably buy the Splatoon DLC, though, when it comes out. Probably. But no, I am totally convinced that the DLC for 2 is going to... Oh, I think this is the original. I want to say this is the original. This is the one that kicked off the Minions memes. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to guess right now, the bonus for completing side order is going to be the Splatoon 2 lobby. I'm going to call it right now. It would just make sense. You know, the one thing that does kind of disappoint me with going back to Splatoon 1 lobby? I wish they had updated Callie and Marie's designs. Right? Like, I wish they had... Like, I know in the story mode they use different designs in Splatoon 1. At least I want to say they use different designs in the story mode than they do in, like, the lobby. That sounds right. But I kind of wish they had updated the Squid Sisters' general design when they're doing their talk show, when they're doing all that stuff. And right, I'd want them to do the same thing for Pearl and Marina. Specifically because Pearl and Marina's new designs are fucking awesome. And I like the new Squid Sisters designs as well. I think they're both really cool. Let's go take a look at them real quick. You know, we're right here. We might as well go take a look. Yeah, because see, like, Callie's design is based on her Splatoon 1 outfit, but it definitely looks different. And Marie's design is, it's kind of like a blend of her 2 outfit and her new outfit. Or, her 1 outfit and her 2 outfit. Right? Like, I wish they had actually used these instead of just bringing back the Splatoon 1 designs. Because I like these designs a lot. And I hope I want them to do the same thing for Pearl and Marina. Gramps here, well... yeah, he don't look too great. Yeah, I don't know. You can't win them all. You can't win them all. I did like the story mode, though. But yeah, no, I totally think we're going back to the Splatoon 2 lobby one way or another. I mean, we already know we are, but, like, I think that's what it's gonna be. It just makes sense. So yeah, that's where we're ending off today. Tomorrow... maybe Pokemon, if not, hopefully sometime in the next week. I would love for that to happen, and then we'll be back with Splatoon for whatever next week's in chat holds. Till then, I hope you all enjoyed. Stay tuned for more. Till next time, peace.